We're starting another Monday in my car. Guess where I've been? I bet you can't guess. No, I'm sure you know. I went to the dentist this morning to get my crown put on. Hopefully this is the end of my saga with this crown. But today is also the first day of 28 weeks pregnant and the first day of my third trimester. So I'm gonna grab some coffee and head home, and then we will catch up about what's going on 28 weeks, what we have looking forward to in the next 3 months. And I'm also going to share some things that I needed to survive in the second trimester and things that I've purchased in preparation for the third trimester. Good morning, everyone. Today is Monday, February the 8th, and I am 28 weeks pregnant. Today is the first day of the third trimester, and I am so stunned at how quickly it's gone, but also so excited for the next few months and what's to come, and of course, to meet our sweet baby. The sweet baby is the size of a coconut or an eggplant, a rollerblade, and an echidna. I'll put a picture up here because crazy to think that something that size is floating around in my tummy right now, but I'm very thankful that baby is not as spiky as this little critter. From head to toe, baby is measuring about 16 inches and weighing about 2¼ pounds. At this point, baby has started to be able to blink. They can see light. They are learning to recognize our voices a little better, which is really neat. Every night we read a book to the baby, and there's just kicking and rolling and all sorts of reactions. So baby is really enjoying being read to. They're also doing better at controlling their own body temperature, and they're kind of losing all of their little wrinkly baby features because they're gaining more body fat, which is what also helps them to be able to regulate their temperature. In addition, baby can now have REM sleep, which is pretty cool. And sometimes when there's a really sudden movement, I wonder, are they dreaming? For me this week, I am feeling maybe an overshare. I'm still feeling pelvic pain, and I'm getting this sensation called lightning crotch. It's a horrible name, but it describes it perfectly. And when I was learning more about this symptom, the article I read said that this symptom will continue until baby is here. So I guess I just better get used to it. I'm also having more intense and more specific sciatica pain, and it's helped by doing stretches, but it's more intense than it was, and I assume that it will continue to get more intense as I gain more weight, as baby gets bigger, and as I get closer to my guest date. I also had another Charlie horse this week. Not bad that I've only had 2 in about a month, but man, they are the worst because you really just have to wait until they're done. But I've only had 2, and I have a couple days of soreness after, but yeah, only 2, I'll take it. I also haven't been sleeping great. Now I know this is where people are gonna chime in and say one of 2 things. They're either going to say, you have to sleep now because when baby gets here, you're not going to sleep. Or they'll say, well, your body is just preparing you for when baby gets here. Both of those things are probably very true, but man, I am a person that needs sleep. So I'm sure that when I get kicked into mama mode 24/7, I will adjust, but right now it's really rough to not get as much sleep as I need. I think one of my issues recently is back support, so I'm gonna try a few things with lots of pillows and see if that helps at all. I also was reading that when you are having trouble sleeping, if you can get up, do something small and relaxing, and then try to go back to bed. So I think what I'm gonna start doing is when I wake up in the middle of the night, rather than grabbing my phone to scroll, which the light throws off my melatonin production and then I'm up even longer, I think what I'm gonna start doing is either going downstairs to read a chapter or 2 of one of my baby books, or meditate, practice my birth mantras, or maybe just come downstairs and make a cup of hot tea. And I'm gonna try those to see if that, combined with more support from a bunch of different pillows, to see if that will help. Yesterday was our first official birth class with our midwife. I have been so excited to start birth class because it just feels fun and interesting to learn about what my body and what my baby is going to do when I start labor. I also think that, first of all, to go into labor with fear can be really tricky because that fear is going to kick in your body's fight or flight. Now, this is all based on videos I've been watching and things I've been reading surrounding our birth class. So if I walk into the hospital holding on to fear, then my body, my animal body, is going to put me in fight or flight, and it might slow down my labor. So that's why I'm working on meditation and mantras. But also, I think that for me, with knowledge will come power, and knowing what my body is going to do will take away that fear. Knowing what could happen will take away that fear. So I'm really enjoying learning more about my body and my baby. And I'm also really enjoying seeing Brian go through this as well, because he's learning how to be a supportive birth partner, and that's really exciting. And that's something that, if I can say it without crying, that I'm really looking forward to seeing him in that role, because he is a constant support system for me. He's just a really good partner in general, and I'm so excited to see how he will evolve into a completely amazing supportive birth partner, and then into a completely amazing, supportive, compassionate, kind father. That is such a cool thing, and I'm so excited to see that transformation in him. I also took a webinar this week on the Mama Natural website, and I ended up signing up for Mama Natural's birth class as well. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to finish up our evidence-based birth class, which is the one we're taking with our midwife. I think that's going to finish up the middle of March. And so I think after that, then Brian and I will start doing the Mama Natural birth course together. So that's what's going on in my 28th week of pregnancy. I'm about 7 months pregnant, and I have about 12 weeks to go until my guest date. So now that I've caught you up on how I'm doing, what's going on with baby this week, I want to talk about two things. That's four. Two things. I want to talk about two things. The first thing we're going to chat about are things that I loved, that I used, that helped me get through the second trimester. And then I want to talk about a few of the things that I bought that I'm excited to use, or that I'm going to use to help me prep for labor and to help me through the third trimester. And the reason I'm doing that now is because something tells me I'll be pretty busy after my third trimester, and during that time I will just want to be all baby all the time. I'm not saying that I'm not going to put videos out, but I don't want to assume that I will. So I'm just going to preemptively let you know what I'm going to be using in third trimester, and maybe I can follow up with you on that before I go into labor, but maybe not. So that's why we're talking about it today. All right, first let's talk about those second trimester must-haves. Now, you don't have to have this to get through second trimester, but they were all really helpful for me. So I just wanted to share them with you. The first thing is this relaxation station. That's what I've been calling it with so much love and affection. So this year for Christmas, I asked my dad to get me something to go on my chair to massage my back. And this is what he got for me. I just set it right in my chair. It has a seat that vibrates and heats, and then it has a back part that does like a rolling massage. And unbeknownst to Brian, that's what I asked my dad to get me. Brian got me, again, without knowing that I had asked my dad for something to use to massage my back in my comfy chair, Brian got me a leg massager. And so for about 30 minutes a day, I sit in my relaxation station and I get a little back rub, I get a lower back rub, which has been great on my sciatica, and then I'm having some weird shoulder stuff, and so it helps on that as well. And then my legs get a massage, which, as sore as they have been after having Charlie horses, I have loved being able to sit in there and just get my legs rubbed. And It also has been helpful with my circulation. The women in my family don't have great circulation. That's something I inherited among many other things from them. But one of the negatives that I inherited from my mom and my grandmother is that I have terrible circulation in my legs. So being able to sit in that leg massager really gets that circulation going, and I love it. It's so comfortable, and honestly, it's my me time for the day. The next thing is probably obvious. I will probably be mentioning it in every trimester review because it's super important. I think I have been good about this, but I could definitely be better. And that is water. A good water bottle, staying hydrated has been really important to me throughout this trimester. I have had more sodas this trimester and more little treats like coffee and slushes from Sonic, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I have also tried to balance that with being really hydrated and drinking a lot of water. So speaking of my little cravings, I have told you in previous videos that in the second trimester, all I wanted to eat were Wendy's Junior Bacon Cheeseburgers. And oh my gosh, they're delicious. Just cheeseburgers in general, but something about a Wendy's JBC is just where it's at, y'all. I love Wendy's Junior Bacon Cheeseburgers, and they have a strawberry lemonade that pairs really nicely with it, and it's so tart and sweet at the same time. And as surprised as I kind of was about craving meat once I started to get further into my pregnancy, that really surprised me that I literally would wake up thinking, I want a cheeseburger to go from being a vegetarian and then to eating meat just because I got pregnant. That surprised me. But something that has surprised me even more is that tart, just recently, just in like the last month, tart tastes and like almost sour tastes have just been the best. I've been getting lemonade slushes from Sonic, and well, I don't put it in there. Sonic will I'll add different flavors every time. Like yesterday, I had a cherry lemonade slush. It was so good. It was so tart. It's like, I love taking a sip out of a drink and like your body just blinks. Like your body just winks and blinks because it's so tart. And that is something that I have been living on this trimester. It's been so appealing to me. The last thing that has been crazy helpful during the second trimester is listening to podcasts. And I have shared before that I listen to a ton of podcasts, but recently I have been listening to two podcasts in particular. One is the Evidence-Based Birth podcast, produced by the same people who are doing our birth class. So our birth class is the evidence-based birth class, and this podcast is the evidence-based podcast. So I've been listening to that and I love it, and it's really interesting. And then I've also been listening to The Birth Hour, which is literally just a woman interviewing people who have given birth, and they're sharing their stories. And that is important because I think sometimes the media in Hollywood, on TV, we just see like these really scary births, or these women who are like, ah, get this baby out of me. They're like cursing at their husband, and just really these like huge, dramatic, intense births. And of course some births are like that, but I have been working really hard listening to and reading birth stories to reframe my brain away from what the media has been telling me my birth is going to be like, and to move towards, in my mind, what birth can be like, how beautiful and calm it can be, or how just all the many different ways birth can be. It isn't just what we see on TV. And that's been super great for me. It's been a good reframing. So now let's talk about the third trimester things that I have purchased in preparation moving into this third trimester. The first thing is a bit of an overshare. So Dad, Billy, my father-in-law, maybe just tap the screen a little bit until this conversation is over. It might make you uncomfortable. The first thing is a perineal spray. So I have already purchased a spray by the Earth Mama brand. It came in a 2-pack, and I have on the way to me a bottle of Clariderm, which is the Young Living brand version of a perineal spray. To be honest, I've already started using that because I think that it's a good habit to get in, and I'm hoping that it will basically work up front to maybe keep me from tearing during birth. So not the most exciting and lovely and beautiful fun thing to talk about, but very practical. So if you're a mama and you're getting towards that time in your pregnancy, I don't know if it works. I've heard great things from other people. Maybe go ahead and get started. It's not gonna hurt, that's for sure. Okay, Dad, Billy, you're good now. We're not talking about lady business anymore, so you can jump back into the video. The next thing is my birthing ball. You guys know I got my birthing ball a couple weeks ago, and I think it's gonna be so great to have in the 3rd trimester. I'm already uncomfortable sitting on the couch. Any sort of reclining position is really uncomfortable, which is crazy because I'm super tired and my body hurts, so I wanna lay down, but it doesn't actually feel good to lay down. So bouncing on the ball is going to really help me in the 3rd trimester, widen up my hips, loosen up my hips, and get them ready to birth this baby. I've looked at a few exercises I can do with the ball that are safe for 3rd trimester and good to prepare you for birth. And I'm gonna be getting started on those because I want my body to be as prepared as possible for what is about to go down. The next 2 are drinks. Can you tell that I'm like a big drinker? Not alcoholic drinks. Obviously, I'm pregnant, not alcoholic drinks. Hydration is important to me. So the first one is Ningxia. Here in a week or 2, I am going to start drinking Ningxia every single day. Ningxia is a wolfberry antioxidant filled juice sort of drink. I love it. There is so much packed into it. There's so many antioxidants packed into it. And I have heard from other mothers who drank Ningxia throughout their pregnancy, but definitely in their 3rd trimester, that basically having a little bit of Ningxia every single day, they could tell a difference between when they gave birth and they didn't have. They weren't drinking Ningxia in their babies where they were, specifically in their placentas, which I think is really interesting. So maybe you think that's crazy, maybe you think that won't work, but again, it's not gonna hurt, so I'm gonna start that. I'm also, in a couple weeks, going to start drinking red raspberry leaf tea. Now, there are studies that show that drinking red raspberry leaf tea, specifically in your 3rd trimester, I really don't think you should do it. Personally, based on what I've read, I really don't think that you should start it until your 3rd trimester. Talk to your midwife or your doctor or whoever your practitioner is, but I really think you should wait until 3rd trimester. But once you get the go ahead in 3rd trimester, I think from what I've read, drinking red raspberry leaf tea is also going to be really helpful in getting my body ready for labor, opening up all of the things that need to be opened up so the baby can come out, and just getting my body ready to deliver a baby, to birth a baby. Finally, this one I'm not so sure about. The data is there, but I just don't know how I'm gonna feel about it. In a couple of weeks, probably right about the time that I start drinking my Ningxia every day, drinking my red raspberry leaf tea every day, I'm going to start having a few dates every day. So there is evidence that 3 large dates or 6 small dates every day in your 3rd trimester, or leading up to, I think after 30 weeks maybe. I think that's what it was. I'm gonna double check that. After 30 weeks, eating a few dates every day as a snack helps soften your cervix and get your body ready to give birth. So we'll see if it works. I mean, evidence-wise, the evidence is there. I don't know if I like dates. I don't know. We'll see. We will find out. So that's all for my video this week. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've been watching this whole time, thank you for being with me in my 1st and 2nd trimester. And I am so excited to move into 3rd trimester. I've worked really, really hard not to wish my pregnancy away, but I have to say, this is an exciting time. I am so just pumped for every day we get closer to meeting our baby, everything we're learning, and just feeling them move and feeling them get squished in this belly. I'm so happy to be pregnant, and I'm so happy that the time is getting nearer and nearer. If you liked this video, you can give it a big thumbs up. You can share it with a friend. You can leave me a comment, especially if you're starting your third trimester. Let me know how you're feeling, what things you could not have lived without in your second trimester, and what things you're preparing to use in your third trimester. Also, you can subscribe to my channel. So here you'll see a bar that has subscribed written on it, and if it's red, that means you're not subscribed to my channel. So when you pull up your YouTube app, in the subscription section, you're not going to see my videos pop up. So you might want to do that if that's an easier way for you to follow along. Also, there is a bell next to where it says subscribe. If you click that bell, you will get notifications on your phone when I post a video. You may not want those, and that's okay, but I just want to let you know in case you want those notifications. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next week.